I stood in the middle of my living room, surrounded by half-packed boxes and 3 years of memories, feeling that strange mix of excitement and sadness that comes with big changes. This apartment had been more than just a place to sleep. It was where I built my career, where I learned to cook something other than ramen, where I watched the sunrise over the park every morning with my coffee. The rent was only $1,200 a month, because Mr. Kowalski, my landlord, was one of those rare good people who cared more about decent tenants than maximum profit. When Marcus called and offered to come help me pack 2 days early, I felt something I had not felt in years. Hope. Hope that maybe the distance between us could finally close. I should have known something was off when he insisted on coming early. Before I tell you what happened next, I would love to know where you are watching this from. Drop your city in the comments below. If you have ever trusted someone only to realize you should not have, go ahead and hit that like button. And subscribe, because this story gets darker before it gets better. You are going to want to hear how this ends. So there I was thinking, my brother had my back. I was about to learn how wrong I was. Marcus showed up on a Tuesday morning looking worse than I remembered. My younger brother was 26 now, but he looked older somehow. Thinner. His clothes hung loose on his frame, wrinkled like he had been sleeping in them. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. When he hugged me at the door, I could feel his ribs through his jacket. Something was wrong, but I did not want to pry right away. We were not that kind of close anymore. "How have you been?" I asked, carrying his duffel bag inside. "Things have been rough," he said, not meeting my eyes. "Work has been unstable. Just broke up with my girlfriend, looking for a new place. The usual." He laughed, but it sounded hollow. I felt a pang of sympathy. Here I was, riding high on a promotion, moving across the country to Seattle to become a regional manager, and my kid brother was struggling. Life felt unfair sometimes. The company had chosen me to open their new branch in the Pacific Northwest. The salary was double what I made now. It was the kind of opportunity you do not say no to, even if it meant leaving this perfect apartment behind. "Let me show you around," I said, even though Marcus had been here before. I wanted to fill the silence. The place was a 2-bedroom on the 5th floor with big windows that let in incredible natural light. You could see the park from every room. The location was golden, just 3 blocks from the metro station, walking distance to everything. I had gotten lucky when Mr. Kowalski offered it to me 3 years ago. He was a 70-year-old widower who would rather have a reliable tenant than charge market rate. I had already given him 3 months' notice, and I had found someone to take over the lease. A young couple, Sarah and Tom. They were moving in 2 weeks after I left. 7 months remained on my current lease, and everything was arranged perfectly. "This place holds so many memories," I told Marcus as we walked through. I threw my first real dinner party here. I worked from home during the entire pandemic from that desk by the window. I learned to make pasta from scratch in this kitchen. Marcus nodded, but he was not really listening. His eyes were moving over everything with an intensity that made me uncomfortable. "How much is rent again?" he asked. $1,200, I said. "For a 2-bedroom this close to downtown, it is basically a miracle." "Who is the landlord, Mr. Kowalski?" "He lives in the building, actually." "Ground floor." "What is the lease situation?" I explained about the 7 months remaining, about Sarah and Tom who would be taking over. Marcus kept asking questions. Strange, specific questions. "How many sets of keys do you have?" "Did you make copies?" I answered honestly, thinking he was just curious. But something felt off. At one point, I walked into the living room and found him standing by the window looking down at the street below. His fingers were pressed against the glass. "This place is perfect," he whispered. He did not know I was there. A chill ran down my spine, but I shook it off. I was overthinking things. He was my brother. He was here to help. That evening we ordered pizza and sat on the floor surrounded by boxes. The conversation felt strained, like we were both avoiding something. "So the new tenants," Marcus said suddenly. "They are definitely taking the place." "Yeah," I confirmed. "They signed the lease already. Everything is set. Mr. Kowalski met them last week. They are excited." Marcus went quiet. He picked at his pizza crust, not eating it. "What if something happened and they could not move in?" he asked. His voice was too casual. "What do you mean?" I said, my stomach tightening. "Nothing," he said quickly. "Just hypothetical." "Like what would happen to the apartment?" I stared at him. "If they backed out, I guess Mr. Kowalski would find someone else." "But they are not going to back out. They are starting new jobs here. They need this place." Marcus nodded slowly, but I could see the wheels turning in his head. That night, I lay in my sleeping bag on the floor of my emptied bedroom, staring at the ceiling. Sleep would not come. Marcus was in the guest room, and I could hear him moving around, restless. Something was very wrong, and I could not shake the feeling that I was missing something important. Something obvious. The next morning, I woke up early and decided to run out for coffee and bagels. I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door, then realized I had forgotten my phone. I turned back, fishing my keys out of my pocket as quietly as possible. That is when I heard Marcus talking on the balcony. His voice was low, urgent. I froze behind the sliding door, my hand on the handle. I did not mean to eavesdrop, but something in his tone stopped me cold. "Yeah, I am already here," Marcus was saying. "No, he has no idea. The current tenants are moving in 2 weeks, but I am working on that. If I can get the landlord's information, I can talk to him directly." My blood went cold. My heart started pounding so hard I thought he might hear it through the glass. "Trust me," Marcus continued, "this place is worth it. 5th floor Parkview, $1,200 a month. I am not letting this go." He paused, listening to whoever was on the other end. "He is moving across the country. Once he is gone, it will be easier. I just need to stall the new tenants somehow." I backed away from the door, my hands shaking. My own brother. My own brother was scheming to steal my apartment. Not just from me, but from Sarah and Tom, who had done nothing wrong. Who had signed a lease in good faith. Who were counting on this place for their fresh start. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. All the air left my lungs. I stood in the hallway trying to process what I had just heard. Part of me wanted to burst through that door and confront him right there. But another part, the part that was already planning, told me to wait. To see what else he would do. To gather more evidence before I made my move. I left the apartment without the coffee, walked around the block twice to clear my head, then came back pretending nothing had happened. Marcus was in the kitchen looking at his phone. "Morning," he said brightly. Too brightly. "You sleep okay?" "Fine," I lied. "You?" He shrugged. "Well enough. Hey, can I get Mr. Kowalski's number? I want to thank him for letting me crash here while I help you pack." The audacity of it. The absolute nerve. I kept my face neutral. "Do not worry about it," I said. "I will pass along your thanks." He looked annoyed for a split second before catching himself. "Sure, okay. No problem." I watched him all day, really watched him. The way he measured the rooms with his eyes, the way he opened closets like he was already planning where his stuff would go, the way he touched the walls, the counters like he was claiming territory. It made my skin crawl. That afternoon I told him I needed to run an errand and went to meet my friend Jake at a coffee shop downtown. Jake had been my co-worker before the promotion, and he was one of the most straightforward people I knew. "Dude," Jake said after I explained everything, "that is sketchy as hell. He is trying to steal your apartment." I wanted to defend Marcus. "He is my brother," I said weakly. "There has to be another explanation." Jake gave me a look. "What other explanation is there?" He literally said he is working on stalling the new tenants. He asked for the landlord's contact. He is planning something shady, and you know it. You need to confront him, or at least protect yourself. Protect Sarah and Tom. They do not deserve to get screwed because your brother is desperate." That word stuck with me. Desperate? Was Marcus desperate? Obviously, yes. But did that excuse what he was doing? Absolutely not. I decided to wait one more day to see if he would come clean on his own, to see if there was any shred of the brother I used to know left in there. That night we packed in tense silence. I kept trying to give him openings to be honest with me. "I am so relieved the new tenants are solid," I said, taping up a box of books. "Mr. Kowalski said they have great credit scores. Good references." Marcus looked up. "You think Mr. Kowalski would consider someone else if they backed out?" The question hung in the air between us. "Why would they back out?" I asked carefully. "I do not know," Marcus said. "Things happen. People change their minds. Life gets complicated. I could not take it anymore." "Marcus," I said, setting down the tape. "What is going on? Why are you so interested in this apartment?" He froze. "What do you mean?" "You keep asking about the lease, about the landlord, about the new tenants. What are you really doing here?" For a moment, I thought he might lie again. Then something in him broke. "Fine," he exploded, standing up so fast he knocked over a stack of books. "You want to know the truth? I need a place, Enrique. I have been sleeping on couches for 2 months. I got evicted from my last apartment. I am broke. I have nothing." My anger softened slightly. "I'm sorry," I said. "I really am. But why did you not just tell me I could have helped you find something? Lent you money for a deposit? We could have figured it out together." Help, how Marcus shouted. By giving me charity. By making me feel like even more of a failure. "I do not want your pity money, Enrique. I want this." He gestured around the apartment wildly. "This place. This perfect, cheap, amazing apartment that you are just giving away to strangers." "They are not strangers," I said, my voice rising to match his. "They signed a lease. They have a legal right to this place. This is not my decision anymore." "It could be Marcus," shot back. "You could break the lease. Tell Mr. Kowalski you changed your mind. Recommend me instead. Tell him I am family, that I am responsible, that I will take care of the place. He would listen to you." I stared at my brother like I was seeing him for the first time. "You want me to screw over 2 innocent people who are counting on this apartment, who arrange their entire lives around moving here, so that you can have it instead. I am your brother," Marcus said, his voice breaking. "Does that not mean anything anymore?" "It means everything," I said, quietly. "That is why this hurts so much. Because I heard you on the phone this morning, Marcus." His face went white. "What I was coming back to get my phone and I heard you on the balcony, talking about how I have no idea, about stalling the new tenants, about getting to Mr. Kowalski directly once I am gone." His mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. "You were not here to help me move," I said, my voice shaking. "You were here to take my apartment, and you were going to do it behind my back. You were going to sabotage Sarah and Tom's lease, lie to Mr. Kowalski, and betray me. Your own brother." Marcus did not deny it. He just stood there looking at the floor. The silence stretched between us like a canyon. That night, neither of us spoke. We slept in separate rooms, and I did not sleep at all. I had to decide what to do next, and I was not going to let him win. I woke up at 6 a.m. with absolute clarity. No more confusion, no more guilt, no more wondering if I was overreacting. My brother had come into my home with a plan to hurt me and 2 innocent people. That was the reality. Everything else was noise. I made coffee, sat at my kitchen table one last time, and started making calls. First was Mr. Kowalski. He answered on the 3rd ring, his voice warm and familiar. "Enrique, good morning. "What can I do for you? I need to tell you something important about my brother," I said. "And I need your help making sure Sarah and Tom's lease stays protected." I explained everything. The conversation I had overheard Marcus's questions, his desperation, his plan. Mr. Kowalski listened without interrupting. When I finished, he sighed deeply. "I had a feeling something was not right," he said. "When you mentioned your brother was staying, something in your voice was off. Do not worry, Enrique. I will not take any calls or meetings with him. The lease with Sarah and Tom is ironclad. Nobody is taking this apartment except them." "Thank you," I said, feeling the first weight lift off my chest. "I mean it." "Thank you." Next, I called Sarah. She answered cheerfully, probably expecting good news. "Hi, Enrique. What is up? I need to warn you about something," I said. "My brother is staying with me temporarily, and I overheard him planning to interfere with your lease. He might try to contact you or Mr. Kowalski claiming there is a problem with the apartment or the agreement. I want you to know that nothing has changed. Your lease is valid, and I am making sure it stays that way." There was a pause. "Oh my God," Sarah said. "Thank you for telling us. We really need this place. We already gave notice at our current apartment. If something went wrong now, we would be homeless. That is not going to happen, I promised. I am handling it. Just ignore any contact from anyone claiming to represent me or the landlord unless it comes directly from Mr. Kowalski himself." She thanked me 3 more times before we hung up. Then I called Jake. "Can you come over today?" I asked. "I need help moving everything out early." "Today," Jake said. "I thought you had 3 more days." "Change of plans," I said. "I need to finish this and get Marcus out of here." "Say no more," Jake replied. "I will be there in an hour." When Marcus woke up and came into the living room, Jake was already there. We had moved half the boxes to the hallway. "What is going on?" Marcus asked, looking confused. "We need to talk," I said. "Sit down." He sat on the couch, wary. "Not as brothers right now," I continued. "As 2 adults who need to have an honest conversation." "I am listening," he said. But his jaw was tight. "You lied to me from the moment you got here. You had an agenda. You came to take this apartment, not to help me move. You planned to sabotage Sarah and Tom. You tried to manipulate me using family guilt. Am I wrong about any of that?" Marcus opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again. "I am desperate, Enrique. Do you have any idea what it is like to have nothing, to watch your life fall apart while your older brother succeeds at everything I understand? Desperation," I said. "I have been broke. I have struggled. I have eaten cereal for dinner for weeks because it was all I could afford. But I never tried to screw someone over to make my life easier." "They are strangers," Marcus said weakly. "So that makes it okay?" I asked. "They are strangers, so they do not deserve honesty. They do not deserve the apartment they legally signed for. They trusted me, Marcus. They planned their lives around this. I gave my word. You are choosing them over your own brother," Marcus said bitterly. "No," I replied. "I am choosing what is right. If you had come to me honestly and said you needed help, I would have moved heaven and earth to find you a place. I would have lent you money. I would have made calls, asked around, helped with applications. But you did not want my help. You wanted my apartment. And you were willing to lie, cheat, and betray me to get it. So yeah, I am choosing integrity over blood, because blood does not give you the right to hurt people." Marcus stood up, shaking with anger, or shame, or both. "Fine, I get it. I am the villain here. You made yourself the villain, I said, standing too. And now I need you to leave." "What leave?" "Today. Pack your stuff and go. Jake and I will finish packing my things. You are not welcome here anymore." "You are really going to kick me out?" Marcus asked, his voice breaking. "Your own brother." You did this to yourself, I said firmly. You made your choices. Now I am making mine. Marcus went to the guest room and started throwing his clothes into his duffel bag. He moved with sharp, angry movements. I felt a pang of sadness, but I did not let it change my mind. 20 minutes later, he was at the door bag over his shoulder. Before he left, he looked at me one last time. You will regret this, he said. The only thing I regret, I replied, is not seeing who you really are sooner. The door closed behind him with a definitive click. Are you okay? Jake asked. I will be, I said. And I meant it. We spent the rest of the day finishing the packing. Jake did not ask questions, did not make me rehash everything. He just worked beside me, and I was grateful for that. By evening, everything was boxed up and ready for the movers who would come the next day. That night, I called my parents in Florida. I had been dreading this conversation, but they deserved to know. Mom answered, and I could hear Dad in the background asking who it was. Hi, Mom, I said. I need to tell you something about Marcus. I explained the situation as calmly as I could. When I finished, there was a long silence. Oh, mijo, Mom said finally. I am so sorry you had to deal with that. You did the right thing. You know that, right? Dad got on the phone. I am proud of you, he said. It takes strength to stand up for what is right, especially when it is family. Marcus needs to learn that the world does not owe him anything. We will talk to him, but you do not need to feel guilty. Hearing them say that made something inside me relax. 2 days later, I met Sarah and Tom at the apartment to hand over the keys. They arrived right on time, holding hands and looking around with wide eyes. This is even better than the photos, Sarah said. Thank you so much for everything. For being professional, for warning us, for protecting our lease. You did not have to do all that. Yes, I did, I said. You two deserve a good start here. Mr. Kowalski came by to meet them officially and to say goodbye to me. You are a good man, Enrique, he said, shaking my hand. Not many people would have handled this situation the way you did. Most would have caved to family pressure, or just walked away from the mess. You did the hard right thing instead of the easy wrong thing. I took one last look around the apartment. The empty walls, the clean floors, the windows with their perfect light. I had been happy here. This place had been good to me. But it was time to move on. I did not feel angry at Marcus anymore, or hurt or betrayed. I just felt free. Free from the obligation to set myself on fire to keep others warm. Free from the guilt of putting boundaries in place. Free to start my new life, without this weight on my shoulders. I walked out of that apartment for the last time, got in my packed car, and started the long drive to Seattle. And for the first time in days, I felt genuinely at peace. Seattle welcomed me with rain, which everyone said was typical. I did not mind. There was something cleansing about it. My new apartment was smaller, a one-bedroom on the 3rd floor with a view of Puget Sound. Different, but beautiful in its own way. The job was everything they promised. Challenging, exciting, full of potential. I threw myself into the work, learning the new city, meeting my team, building something from the ground up. But at night alone in my new place, I still thought about Marcus. Not with anger anymore, but with sadness. Sadness for what we could have been as brothers, and for the choices he made that ruined it. I wondered if I had been too harsh, if I should have given him another chance. But every time I questioned myself, I remembered Sarah and Tom's faces when they got their keys. I remembered Mr. Kowalski trusting me to do the right thing. I remembered the feeling of standing up for myself, maybe for the first time in my relationship with Marcus. No, I had done the right thing. Setting boundaries was not cruelty. It was self-preservation. I joined a hiking group to meet people. There was something therapeutic about climbing mountains, about pushing my body while my mind worked through everything. The people I met were kind, genuine, with no ulterior motives. We would hike for hours, then get coffee and talk about our lives. I told them about the move, about starting over, but I did not mention Marcus yet. That wound was still too fresh. Work became my anchor. I was good at my job, and people noticed. My boss praised my leadership style, called me a natural. I made friends in the office, went to happy hours, slowly built a life that felt like mine. Really mine, not something I was maintaining for someone else's benefit. 3 months after I arrived in Seattle, my phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. I stared at it for a long time before opening it. The message was short. I was wrong. I was selfish. I am sorry. There was more. He told me he had found a place, a studio apartment in a less desirable part of town. He was working part-time at a warehouse. It was not much, but it was honest. He did not ask for anything. He just said he was sorry. I read it 3 times, feeling a complicated mix of emotions. Relief that he was okay. Sadness that it had come to this. And something else. Something like closure. I texted back, "I forgive you. But things cannot go back to how they were." His response came quickly. "I know. I just wanted you to know I get it now. We have not spoken since. No phone calls, no video chats, no plans to visit. Maybe someday we will rebuild something. Or maybe this is how our story ends, with forgiveness from a distance. Either way, I have made my peace with it. Forgiveness, I learned, was not about making him feel better. It was about releasing myself from carrying his mistakes around like stones in my pockets. I forgave him so I could be free. Not so, we could be close again." The lessons from that experience became part of who I am now. Family does not give you the right to hurt people. I was raised to believe that family was everything, that blood was thicker than water, that you always put family first. But I learned that family can be toxic too. That love without boundaries is not love at all. It is enabling. You can love someone and still protect yourself from them. You can honor the relationship you had while accepting that it is not healthy anymore. Blood relation is not a free pass for manipulation, for betrayal, for taking advantage. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. Your word is your integrity. The moment I realized Marcus wanted me to break my promise to Sarah and Tom, I knew I could not do it. Not for anyone. Your word is all you really have in this world. Once people stop believing you will do what you say, you have nothing. I kept my promise, and it cost me my relationship with my brother, at least temporarily. But I can look at myself in the mirror. I can sleep at night. That is worth more than any relationship built on compromise of character. Setting boundaries is not selfish. For so long I thought being a good brother, a good person, meant always saying yes, always being available, always putting others first. But that night when I told Marcus to leave, I learned something crucial. Boundaries are not walls meant to keep people out. They are gates that let the right people in. Saying no to Marcus was not mean. It was necessary. It was survival. And it was the kindest thing I could do for both of us, even if he could not see it then. He needed to learn that his desperation was not my responsibility to fix. That love does not mean self-destruction. Forgiveness is for you, not them. When I finally responded to Marcus's apology, I did not do it because he deserved my forgiveness. I did it because I deserved to stop being angry. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiving him did not mean forgetting what happened or pretending it did not hurt, or opening the door for him to do it again. It meant releasing my grip on the anger that was taking up space in my chest. It meant choosing peace over being right. It set me free, and that freedom was the whole point. Now, sitting in my Seattle apartment with rain pattering against the windows, I think about how much has changed in just a few months. I have a job I love, friends who respect me, a life I built on my own terms. I have learned that sometimes the hardest thing about growing up is realizing that love is not always enough, that good intentions do not erase bad actions, that you can care about someone deeply and still need them to stay away. And that is okay. It has to be okay because the alternative is losing yourself, trying to save someone who does not want to be saved. Marcus is out there somewhere working his warehouse job, living in his studio. I hope he is learning. I hope he is growing. I hope he looks back on what happened and understands why I did what I did. But even if he does not, I will be fine. Because I know who I am now. I know what I stand for. I know that my integrity is not negotiable, not even for family. Especially not for family, because they are the ones who can hurt you the deepest if you let them. Sometimes the people who hurt us are not evil. They are just desperate, broken, or lost. That does not make their actions okay, but it makes them human. Marcus was not a monster. He was a man drowning, reaching for anything to stay afloat, even if it meant pulling me under with him. I had to let go of his hand to save myself. That was not cruelty. That was courage. And I would make the same choice again. Have you ever had to choose between family loyalty and doing what is right? Have you ever had to set boundaries with someone you love, knowing it might end the relationship? Drop your answer in the comments. I would love to hear your story. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more real stories about the complicated truth of relationships and growth. Share this with someone who needs to hear that it is okay to protect themselves even from family. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps you with whatever you are going through. Stay strong, stay true. And remember that sometimes the hardest choices lead to the most freedom. Take care of yourself out there.